Hey, Elisa, good to see you.
Hello, Louise.
Thanks for coming and having a chat to me today. And for everyone's benefit, this is Elisa Choy. She's an amazing client of mine. She's an economist and a data strategist and a brilliant, fantastic client who have grown to love very much. And so we're just going to share with everybody a little bit about Elisa's journey and what happened for her as we went through this process of me consulting to her company and coaching her personally. And so let's just talk a bit about the journey. So we met 3 years ago, right? It was about 3 years ago, and a mutual friend, also Elisa, introduced you to me. And so the first time we met, I'll never forget you because you were just so full of dreams and you were going through a little bit of a rough time in your business, weren't you? So do you want to just speak to that, and what was your experience as you entered into this journey with me as your coach consultant?
Yeah, it was a long journey. 3 years has passed really quickly. Well, when I fell into your nest, Louise, I was very different to what I am now. I have to really thank you for helping me through the last couple of years of immense change. And so when I arrived into your nest, I was broken. I was a little bit lost. I knew that I had something really valuable to offer, but I just couldn't get my mindset right. I didn't have the belief in myself. And there were some issues in the business that I had to sort through that I just didn't have the right insight or guidance. And so I think our first conversation, it was pretty much like we hit it off straight away, because the thing about you, Louise, is that you are highly intuitive as well as highly structured, and you've got the mastery in what you're doing. So I think that really resonated with me, because you meet so many people and you just, it's a feeling that you get when you connect with somebody who understands you, understands where you're at, and gives you the right level of lesson and nurture at once, right? So, because I was quite vulnerable, wasn't I?
You were, and I love that about you, because you've always been so open and honest. And I think I do tend to work with clients who are quite brave and quite clever. And when you came to me, you had had a successful corporate career. You'd gone into your own business a little while before. And I think that shift for you with having an entrepreneurial mindset versus a employee mindset was very a big shift for you. Even though you are an entrepreneur, it's within you. And I guess when we met, I remember that you did come, and like many people, they cry. I make a lot of grown men cry as well. But I remember there were tears, which is normal in the beginning or in stages that you go through in business that are difficult. And you're thinking about your livelihood, your family, and all those things. So I remember that you had this brilliant idea and product and service, but you didn't have full clarity about what that looked like and who the someone was that you were going to sell it to and how to model that. But you also were going through all this emotional pain, weren't you, at the time? And I found you did fall into my nest, and I just thought you were fantastic straight away. But what happened for you? Because I look at you now and I go, you're different. You're not a different person. You're the same person. But man, the transformation in you in every aspect, it's like you've just got your wings, haven't you? I mean, so what happened for you in that journey? Because I remember the first few months, it was still tough for you, but you were growing quickly. And there were stages. Felt like there were stages as we worked together that you went through. You evolved out of this place, and in some areas you started to get some traction and run with the financials, for example, and finding clients. But then in other areas you were still working on probably even a bit of healing and clarity about, and confidence, wasn't it? So what did it feel like for you, like going through this process? Because I gave you a bit of a hard time sometimes, didn't I? Like I challenged you, I think, a lot as well, which you rose to. But
Yeah,
what changed for you in your mindset, do you think, as we went
yeah.
through the journey?
Well, you've given me a couple of poignant gifts along the way. And so I think the first gift you gave me was the gift of safety,
Mm,
because you saw me and you heard me, and I was desperate to be seen and to be heard.
mm.
And that's just your nature, and that's why I call you Mama Eagle, right? Because you are Mama Eagle. So the first gift was safety, and then the second gift was in the business context. I had this warped mindset around money. Like
Mm.
I couldn't ask for money. I didn't know what I was worth. I was sitting on invoices, remember, that I
That's
didn't even
right.
issue.
I'm
I
like,
was sitting
send
on
me
invoices that I
invoices
didn't issue.
already.
It's like, what are you doing? So I had this mentality that work was hard. You have to toil, that
Yeah,
only if you work hard, you deserve it. And that's from my upbringing as
yeah,
well. But
yeah.
you were able to really shift something so important in my head, that now it's like, I'm not that, I don't have that mindset. So I did your program and we did that challenge, and it helped bring together a community of like-minded or like-wounded, you know, people, like-wounded with the potential, right? And so I just needed that community as well, because coming out of corporate, you're on your own
Yeah,
doing your own business. And so you had so many little drops of gifts, so there were, and every time it was a subtle shift. It wasn't anything
yeah.
major, but that's all we needed, subtle shift. And then the third thing you gave me was, you helped me with my healing, because as you know, like, I went through a lot of I was carrying a lot of emotional trauma
Mm.
from my life and my past, which manifested in my arthritis.
Yes.
And that was a big shock to the system. And so, there were many times when you just gave me that sense of safety and peace, but also, it's like the faith to know that you will get through this. Because, when you're in your quagmire, you cannot see up from down. You have no idea what's going on. And sometimes it just takes like the right words from somebody that you trust, just to give you that extra bit of inspiration and hope. And
Yeah.
so I feel like in the first year after meeting you, I was in that wilderness for a while.
Yeah.
But look, there have been many gifts along the way, but those were probably the three critical things you gave me in the most critical time of my early part of the journey.
That's awesome. I remember one day when you messaged me, and I'd actually woken up at 2 a.m. thinking about you. And I don't think I'd spoken to you in that last week before that. And you messaged me and you said, I've woken up with no pain. And I'll never forget that, because you started to have healing in your body as well as in your mind and your heart and your finances. And I guess what you described there is something that, in terms of the money mindset and the feeling like you have to work really hard, that's such a common thing. And I know I've experienced that in my life, but I see this a lot with high performers. They're very, very clever, they're very talented, they're very gifted. And I've met so many, and they're the kind of people that I love to work with, because they've already got so much capacity to give, but they often struggle to receive. And they often don't internally articulate their value to themselves, which is where it starts to be able to articulate your value either in a corporate role and ask for the money that you deserve, or work too many hours, get paid well, but work so hard that you're always fatigued and burn out. And so, when you came and you were going through this, and I saw this happening in you, and just watching you evolve. And you're right, that first year you did make changes though in your business. I remember straight away you did take action and made changes, but you were still hurting from the whole burnout of the corporate thing, and physically trying to overcome the arthritis and everything else. But then you started to move into this next stage, like watching you and watching what happened almost like that second year. And I think the community was really key for you, because I guess people don't get into a tribe and an environment where they're they are celebrated and encouraged consistently for the uniqueness that they carry, and to people seeing them for who they are. And that's the kind of culture, I guess, I always want to foster. But then in that group of a real mixed bag of people from all countries, all different kinds of stages of their life, or their businesses or their careers. And that was really interesting watching that gel and how that came about. But, the thing I noticed about you is you're an action taker, and you did consistently take action, but there was this sort of moving transition period where you started to learn that. I remember you always worrying about burning out or working so hard that you would get really tired or sick. And I've seen that as well a lot. And something shifted for you where I think it was like that real shift at a subconscious level, but also internally, to go, I don't have to kill myself to get good money. And I don't have to always work so hard and give everything. I can do it with joy.
Yes.
I noticed that shift in you over time. Like, what was that like for you? Like, what was it that spoke to you to help you have that shift around the killing yourself
Yeah.
to get there?
I used to, when I was in high school, I studied quite a lot, and I did quite well. I was very disciplined. And I used to, before a big exam, I used to always pray and say, please give me the grade that I deserve.
Okay.
Right? And you take that on board through to your career. You get the pay that you deserve. You get the
Yes.
promotion that you deserve, only if you deserve it. And you deserve it if you work really hard or demonstrate that you're going to kill yourself and burn out, right? So when I got out of corporate into my own, it was a real adjustment, because I am my own boss now. I set my own rules about value and time, etc. But I think it was a gradual shift, because one, the arthritis taught me a lot of lessons, obviously, not to take your body for granted. Two, that at the end of the day, that I think the bravest step I had to take was the first time I had to give myself permission to rest when I was tired.
I remember
That's it. The first time, because you're like, oh, if I'm not working, no one else is paying me, and you go through that again. So it's that first step to go, I'm actually not doing anything today, and I'm going to do something that brings me joy. And for me, it's sitting in the sun, or doing something around, or eating a packet of chips, whatever it is that brings you joy. And then you realize the world didn't fall apart. I'm still here. My business is still here. In fact, I've got more energy and more inspiration to go more. So it was a really subtle thing, but something that had to really shift in my brain, going, you know what? Rest is work too.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned that. I'd forgotten about that. And I remembered one day when you said, I've actually rested, and you were sort of in shock. But it's countercultural.
It is.
But the spirit of rest, I call it, or the, run your race with grace.
Yeah.
Can be like a stallion knife and say, I've got eagles, I've got the whole menagerie, I've got eagles. They see beyond, they see further than other people can see. They're futuristic and they're creative. But then I have the horses that love to run, and the horses are the ones that break down because they're stallions.
Yeah.
And I remember learning this lesson myself. Once I was at a retreat, and I honestly felt like God said, the don't be like the horse that has to run. It has to be led by bit or bridle. And I got this picture of this broken down horse that got led into this beautiful still pasture to rest. And it taught me that you can run with grace and with ease. You can run and fast and hard. But if you don't have rest inside of yourself, and rest, for me, rest is with God, but rest is also not having anxiety. Rest is dropping that rope. I often think of a piece of rope, and control is at one end and anxiety is the other. And I say, drop the rope, surrender. And when you drop the rope and you surrender to something bigger than yourself, you start to experience some peace. And so I feel like with the money thing, and what you spoke about, deserving, where you look at you have to decide what you deserve when you work for yourself. No one else. You can't blame your boss anymore for not paying you enough. You're the boss. And the deserving part of the money rules and the roles that we take on board, no one teaches us how to think about that differently. And you're right, like it is incremental. Like sometimes I'll see someone have a massive shift and they go and get a 42K pay rise, and things like this happen a lot, you know, where quickly they have clarity in a shift. But often too, it's also training ourselves to think differently. And it takes time to build that muscle, you know, the neural pathways, but also emotionally receive, instead of just giving all the time and giving so much that we've got nothing left, because that's not healthy and it's not sustainable. It becomes like this performance, what I call performance disorientation, where you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, and you're not actually progressing forward quickly. And I love the idea of the state of rest. And I guess that's what I love to see people start to experience. And when you get into that place of deep peace and love for yourself, that's when you're your most creative.
Yes.
That's the answer to your problems, because you're in a flow state. And so I love that you took that on so much, and I saw that change in you. And now, like what I see in you is joy as well as rest. So you're in your joy, and your joy, you're in a state of strength in what you're doing in your business. So you don't allow things when they say they don't work out, and people do say no to us. You don't fall back into that fallback position that you used to be in, where you panic anymore or get in anxiety. You know that you're in this higher state. You're connected to yourself. You're connected in a state of love, receiving, you know, ready to receive. So I also saw a change in your business. So you went from, you started to get more clarity, you started to invoice people, which made me very happy. You started to go and collect what the money that was owing to you, but you also started to create some models. And we that was an evolving thing as well with your business, because now I know that you've moved from, you know, you had a few clients here and there, and now you've moved into a whole new ball game in your business. And what I saw for you was this clarity about who it was that you were going to serve, who was your someone somewhere. And you started to go, instead of going, I'm going to go down the tiers to the bottom denominator, you started to realize, no, hang on, I do need to be speaking to the CEOs or the board. And you realize, I think, what you had to bring, and you started to be driven by that deep desire to serve and the understanding of what it is that you carry and the worth of it. And then along with the money mindset, I saw you shift. And then in that, you started to be able to, because you could always talk, like you're a good talker, you're a natural influencer, but you just didn't have that deep confidence in yourself around pricing yourself well, and the clarity to go after what you, and the confidence to go after what you want. Like, what happened for you in that part of it, with your business side, with your model? What changed for you from even a year ago to now? Like what's
I think I also went through a spiritual journey in parallel. So that means connecting close to myself. And so I think it was in many methods. It's just not one method, as you always know. So then where I arrived was a very crystal clear view of who I was and what I wanted to do, what my purpose was, to the point where it's so focused now that you sort of receive that sense of peace. You found your spot.
Yeah, you find.
And when you found your spot, if you believe the way that I think about things, it's like if you found your spot as to why you're here on earth, to serve, you know, then you'll always get the help that you need. And also the way in which you go about it is that, contrary to what we've been used to, which is hustle, grind, right? If you're not going out there hustling, grind, you're not, no, I don't do that anymore. So I've had, you know, multiple inputs from, you know, spiritual, from neuro, from you, from a whole bunch of things that I've sort of taken on board to help me find my center core and stay there. And so now it's the case of, it's almost like you have that inner peace, which radiates confidence and calm. Yeah. And when that happens, when people talk to you, you also hold the space for them
Yes.
to be in your world.
Yes, that's right.
Peace and
Yeah.
calm. Everybody wants clarity, peace and calm. And so in my line of work, I provide clarity through data, you know. So it's like effort without effort.
Yes.
And I have a model now, which I call the spider model.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a spider, it just spins its web. And the web is the strongest material on earth, like the actual web, right? And each spider has its own web. And it's quite unassuming. It will come out when it needs to come out, spin its web, and the web will sit there. And then the web will catch things in its web. And then the spider will come out and inspect it to see whether it's do I want to eat that or do I not want to eat that?
Yeah.
And it also goes with the flow of nature, whereby, you know, part of my web breaks. Okay, I'm just going to get on with it and fix the web. It doesn't go out there and hustle and grind.
That's right.
I am here, right? I'm doing what I'm doing. And if anything, it's actually worked out much better in terms of quality of people coming through, conversion time. And the best thing is not much effort. There's a different type of effort.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. And you know, I guess you've heard me say many times that I hate hustle.
Yeah.
And I have a few things that I say to clients a lot, like, and I say, God's in the rest, not the wrestling. And
Yes.
the anti-hustle, let's, you know, I mean, I'm up for the anti-hustle movement, and I see, you know, gurus and coaches, consultants, or people in corporates, and they hustle, and it really doesn't work. It's not effective. It's not productive. And I guess to learn to not hustle.
And it's not fun.
Well, you look at
tiring.
Kids. That's right. It's exhausting. And you look at little kids. I mean, they don't hustle. They play.
Yeah.
They explore. And so I love that about you, how you really took that on board. And so I guess, you know, as we're talking about what I do, and it's sometimes, you know, people go, what do you actually do? Because it is so holistic, and you know how passionate I am about helping people multiply their finances, and I know that you've experienced that and had fantastic growth in your business, and now we've helped now 8 people in the last 6 months create 6 figures and multiple 6 figures, and as well as companies do multiple millions of increase in sales. And I guess that's been something I'm so passionate about, because I know the struggle of lack and what it does to families, and what it does to mental health, what it does to our young people, what it does to organizations. And it does very much align with identity, the way that you do money and the roles that you play with money. But I just get so excited when I see somebody like you, because now your voice has been released. Now you're able to sing your song with confidence, and then go and help people with a practical, very, you know, useful skill set. And so I'm very thankful to have been part of your journey, and still part of your journey, as I see you get out on a bigger stage as well with what you do and what you're gifted in. And so I would suppose we'll just sort of wind this up, because we've definitely seen results, financial results, in the multiple 6 figures for you, in quite a short space of time, I guess, in developing what you do, and you just keep growing and growing. But what would you say to people who would be looking to utilize my services especially in a large organization, or for people maybe going out into consultancy, who are wanting to do something for themselves? What would you say to them about what your experience has been with what we've done together?
Well, I firstly want to say thank you very much, Louise, because you've been quite instrumental in, you know, my journey. And so the key things that I found really valuable, and an absolute blessing that we were actually met at the time that we needed to meet, was I can speak to people coming out of corporate to start their own business, or even somebody who wants to find even if it's their personal brand, like who are they, you know?
Yeah.
And even within an organization, like, you know, people wanting to stand on their own 2 feet and feel comfortable that that's the place to stand for them, right? So I think for me, it's really helping me find and believe in me first, helping me find who I always knew I was going to be.
Yeah.
I just needed just a little push, you know, a little nudge from a place of safety and higher intuition. And that coupled with your frameworks and your tools to help actually iterate, because you have to do the work.
Yes.
You don't give me the answer of who I am. You give me the tools and the frameworks and the environment to which we do our homework, get our stuff done to get the answer that we need. So those are the 2 things that are highly unique to you, because you know there's so many coaches and programs and stuff out, and I've been to so many of them. It's not funny, but I think for you it's like you were really critical at that time. And so how I came out of this journey is that I'm, as you say, crystal clear, super confident in myself. I've become bamboo. You know, bamboo.
Yeah.
Like super strong, but it's also flexible.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah.
So, you know, but it's also, but it all started with belief in seeing me and helping me see me, because at the end of the day, the greatest lesson that I think all of us should learn, if they have the ability to learn, is that it's all on you.
That's it. You got to own it, baby.
All on you.
That's
no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to nurture you or take you. No, you know, it's all you. So if you don't get that, you're not going to get there.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess that's the thing, you know, people are willing to take ownership and responsibility, but just haven't found the tools. And you used the word iterate, and I guess it's continuing to iterate. And I get very excited when someone's ready, but they just haven't found the right person to help them, or the right tools, as you say, in the neuro toolbox and the spiritual shift and the emotional mindset.
Oh, and one more thing also, you know, with high performance,
you can say as much about me as you want.
We've got days. So with high performers, right, as you know, we all love challenges.
Yes.
We're highly competitive. We're all on challenges. And sometimes, so you would give us a challenge, and then, you know, I would, being the way that I am, I go for the challenge and then prove to myself I could actually do that. And it was something as simple. I remember you were telling us all to start doing video logs, right? And just post it to the group. I have never done a video log. I was very self-conscious, but doing that repetitively within a safe environment. Look at me now. I'm bloody
I know
all the time.
So this is true. That was actually key, wasn't it? I think that little cocoon of people, that tribe that we have, that does, it incubates and germinates. It's an incubator for people's heart, mind, and business commercial acumen, and that is, it's quite a unique incubator, isn't it? And I mean, it's very exciting for me when I see how that bounces around too, because it creates synergy and momentum, which is what we're seeing with all these people making money on doubling up. It's like a, you know, a pool of, it's like a gold rush. It really is, like the oil coming out everywhere, which is exciting. But the other thing too, I guess, that I've noticed, that the right people, when I work with when I say the right people that are ready, that are frustrated, that are high performers, that are either curious spiritually, or they have a deep faith, or they highly emotionally intelligent and aware, but are in the wrong environment. What happens with them is there's speed. They're rapid. The shift is rapid and the shift is often rapid with their finances, and that excites me. But the shift is rapid with their emotional life as well. And I feel like that's just because I've been in this game for over 25 years. I've been passionate about personal development and neuroscience. I have deep connection for me with God, and deep insight, I guess, that is spiritual. And regardless of what people believe in, you know, I have clients that believe in all sorts of things, but there is something that happens at a very deep level, at a human level, within people that shifts quite dramatically. And I get very excited when I see that. And I saw that in you, and I'm very thankful for that you've trusted me with this journey. And I just know that you're just going to go on and on to greater things. I've got goosebumps as I talk to you, but it's like, it really is, I call it releasing the eagles to take their industry and go to the top of their mountain in every way. And on the way, you know, they're getting set free emotionally, spiritually, financially. And I'm seeing what it does for their families when they're able to create a great income, like, you know, 6, 7, 8 figures, whatever it is. And but also to be able to, I call it like a violin, finely tuned to your voice to come out. And that's what happened for you, I think, when you started to be able to speak on video. I'm like, finally we're actually seeing the person that I knew on our calls coming out of hiding. And I feel like there's so many amazing people that are backstage.
Yeah.
And they're backstage because they're so self-aware, and they're very aware of how other people think and feel. So they start thinking about that, and they can be critical of themselves, and yet they have the best messages to share because they have humility. And that's you. And I'm like just been so blessed to have you on my journey. So thank you so much for sharing. We could keep talking about me for another 4 hours, but we better not, I guess. But I am thankful to have you, and thank you for sharing with everyone, because I think it's important for people to see that it's a journey, and there's a lot of people out there selling the dream, but they don't teach you how to drive the dream. And there's skill involved, and there's process involved, and we've got to have peace in the process, don't we, and power in the process, and posture, like you said, the posture of confidence to know who you are, why you're here. And I'm like, and I call you, you know, I call you my little eagle. I have many that I just, you know, the birds are flying out there in the valley behind me as I speak, but I just love to see people start to succeed and really get out there, who are so caring and so unique and have so much to offer. So like, it's just been so much fun and such a blessing working with you. You're like just one of my favorites ever, and you're amazing.
I'm sure you say that to all of them.
No, don't say to everybody.
Oh, you're my favorite.
It's like the mama, are you my favorite? Anyway, thank you so much for sharing. This has just been amazing. And so and also for those that don't know, your business is Maven Data. It's Elisa Choy. So find Elisa on LinkedIn, and all things AI and data strategist, economist, incredible ability to help you find exactly what your market are thinking and feeling through truth, through data. And so connect with Elisa. You'll love her as much as I do. Maybe not as much as I do. Well, maybe you will. But anyway, thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you so much.